or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
At Gruber Law Offices, our biggest priority is the care and service we provide to our clients. We know accidents can be overwhelming, and we're here to help every step of the way. Call now. One call, that's all.
You can't beat Bernhardt.
Sports lovers love us.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9 o'clock, it is 32 degrees in downtown Milwaukee. Sun and clouds today, a high of 46. Watching for possible frost tonight with clear skies and a low of 28. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. A woman from Pewaukee heading to prison for starving her autistic daughter to death. 53-year-old Amy Laskowitz entering an offered plea of no contest to one charge of recklessly subjecting an at-risk individual to abuse. That means that she admitted no guilt, but did concede there is enough evidence for a conviction. Prosecutors say her 23-year-old daughter, Cora, who had autism, died of starvation in January of 2023. Laskowitz will spend 20 years behind bars. Meanwhile, another individual going to prison for 2 years for paying health care kickbacks. Court records showing Justin Hansen of River Hills and his business partner spent 3 years paying $400,000 in kickbacks to a substance abuse clinic for medical test referrals performed at their Milwaukee area lab. That lab ultimately receiving over $2 million from Medicare and Medicaid for the unnecessary tests. Hansen will have to pay that money back as well as a $75,000 fine. Decision Wisconsin today, marking 1 week until the April 1st spring election in the Badger State. In-person absentee voting underway in several communities across Wisconsin. Thursday is the last day you can request an absentee ballot for the election. You can register to vote in person at your local clerk's office until this Friday or at your polling place on Election Day. The FBI launching a counterterrorism task force aimed at investigating a slew of attacks against Tesla dealerships across the country, protesting company CEO Elon Musk. This as police in the Texas capital of Austin still looking for those who left incendiary devices outside a Tesla dealership there Monday morning.
The same Austin Tesla store where the suspicious devices were found has been the scene of peaceful protests. Tim Chittum, who lives nearby, says the vandalism and violence are misguided.
Why would you take this out on Teslas and employees of Tesla? I mean, how many people they employ?
Beyond the company headquarters, the Austin Gigafactory is the city's largest private employer with 23,000 on the assembly line. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
There's new evidence Canadians are taking the advice of their former prime minister when it comes to travel.
New data in the Wall Street Journal shows a 13% drop in the number of Canadians returning from the United States by air in February than did a year ago. Numbers from Statistics Canada show land crossings fell 23%. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau encouraged Canadians not to vacation here to protest President Trump's tariff threats. Canadian shoppers have also embraced a Buy Canadian movement at grocery and retail stores, affecting day trips to places like Buffalo, New York. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Canadian economist Todd Hirsch, meanwhile, noting on WTMJ's Political Power Hour, the ongoing tariff talk is impacting American spending habits as well.
But Americans also purchase a lot from Canada. Resources like oil and gas, things like lumber, things like steel and aluminum. And those things are going to cost more for American consumers.
President Trump confirming no exemptions for steel and aluminum tariffs, with more expected to come on April 2nd. And the Brewers getting ready for their opener of the regular season this Thursday against the Yankees. Meanwhile, the home opener coming up next Monday at American Family Field against the Royals. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copleen on Wisconsin's Morning News with a sneak peek into what the weather could be in the Bronx for opening day.
Brewers, when they open in New York, it looks fantastic. So Thursday, sunny, about 50. Friday, partly sunny, mid-50s. So, yeah, it looks like they'll get opening day in New York without any problem. They won't need to push it back a day.
Our coverage on Thursday from the Big Apple, beginning with Brewers warm-up at 1 p.m. here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow this hour down 17 points at 42,567, while the Nasdaq is up slightly, 32 points in the green at 18,220, and the S&P 500 up 5 points as well at 5,773. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:04.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With spring in the air, a young man's fancy turns to ceiling fans. And at BBC, he'll see all the best quality fans and their newest styles. The new fan electronics provide a great method of moving air, and with LED lights, they use less electricity than ever. We have fans in all sizes, from 24 to 96 inches wide, and their motors are warranted for life. At BBC, we advise you on the right fan for your needs, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturday 10 to 4 and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
He's Donald Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk. And now Musk is trying to buy Brad Schimmel a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Because Musk knows when you buy Schimmel, he'll do whatever you want. Like when Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn, after the man's lawyer gave Schimmel thousands of dollars. And Schimmel will ban abortion, with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of the mother. Deeply corrupt and totally extreme. That's the real Brad Schimmel. There's a better choice.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars.
Protecting your family and your most basic rights. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will.
So on April 1st, vote for Judge Susan Crawford, Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Frantic finish last night in the desert. Devin Booker for the Suns with a mid-range jumper, 2.4 seconds on the clock. On the other side, Brooke Lopez missed a possible tying shot. The Bucks fall in Phoenix 108-106. Bucks now 40-31 with 11 games to play, 2 games back of Indiana for the 4 seed in the East. Next up, the Nuggets in Denver on Wednesday. The Brewers, as mentioned before, begin the regular season Thursday in New York against the Yankees, and they'll do so with several of their pitchers on the Schneid. Manager Pat Murphy on Wisconsin's Morning News.
7 of our top 13 pitchers will not be going to New York, and then that's disturbing. That's difficult and hard to deal with.
Our coverage again Thursday from the Bronx starts at 1 in the afternoon here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. And some hockey news. The Milwaukee Admirals renewing their AHL agreement with the NHL's Nashville Predators. That runs now through the 2028-29 season. That partnership between the two teams was first forged back in 1998. Checking the roads now, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Only incident on the board is left over from earlier this morning. Broken down vehicle on 94 west near Highway 16 north of Waukesha. Otherwise, volume's looking pretty good. Full freeway speeds and no other incidents to report. And your WTMJ forecast for today, sun mixing with some clouds throughout southeast Wisconsin, a high of 46. Clear with possible frost tonight and down to 28 for the low. Partly cloudy, 47 the high for your Wednesday, up to 54 on Thursday. Watching for a slight chance for showers in the morning. Better chance we could see rain on Friday, so that warm high of 65 comes with the cost of showers and a few rumbles of thunder as well. More rain and storms possible than on Saturday with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's partly cloudy, 33, 29 and sunny in Green Bay, partly cloudy, 34 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee, peaks of sun through the partly cloudy skies and 33. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Political Power Hour. There was a 1971 film called The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight about two mafia gangs who just couldn't quite figure it out. And as I watch and listen and read about the sort of some of the weirdness of this current administration, I'm reminded of that movie. And I thought, who better to talk about? A guy that knows TV very well. All sorts of TV, and is certainly a brilliant writer on top of all of that. Christian Snyder joins me. You can see his work at nationalreview.com and other great publications. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning. Yeah, that book, The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight, was written by Jimmy Breslin.
Yes.
The great Jimmy Breslin.
Yeah,
yes.
what a fantastic writer. I guess the story for most people, at least for me looking at the story, Pete Hegseth, certainly a high cabinet member of the Trump administration, using a messaging app called Signal to sort of share military information, he says not secrets, he says not military plans, across a wide group of governmental officials. But the problem was he copied in a member of the media from The Atlantic, and that is editor-in-chief, what's his first name? It's Goldberg. What's his first name?
Jeffrey
Goldberg, who I think wisely didn't share that information till after the attack, but it does sort of raise this question. An administration who's intent on doing a lot of things really quickly, maybe not paying attention to the details of maintaining the highest level of secrecy and safety and security of our really important defensive posturing and information. What do you think?
Yeah, what does it say when an Atlantic reporter shows more discretion in sharing American secrets than the Secretary of Defense? Yeah, I mean it's horrifying. The real problem. It's a problem that they copied Jeffrey Goldberg in on his group chat. But the real problem is that they were setting this thing up on, a third-party, privately owned chat system to begin with. I mean that's the real problem. And that everybody in the chat room seemed to know this. I mean, they all have it on their phones, and they're all, chatting away about national security secrets while they're out grocery shopping, when normally they would have to be in a secure facility to talk about a lot of this stuff. So, and they didn't even have the smarts to, use code names or anything like that. These people, they're using their real names in this chat thing, and Signal is supposed to be for people who don't want their information, it's doubly encrypted or whatever. But if you think that there's not somebody watching these messages or not some sort of log of these messages somewhere, I mean, you're kidding yourself. So
well, one of the attendees was actually in the Kremlin getting these messages real time. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah, and nobody thought to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this on an unsecure in an unsecure chat room, or hey, who is this JG guy that nobody knows who's just kind of lurking there, wearing a fake mustache?
Yeah.
And Goldberg said, as soon as the bombing happened, he left the chat room and started writing up a story. And a lot of people are saying, why didn't you just stay in there and see what else? Because for sure there would have been a lot more stuff in that chat room that they would have divulged. So, it's a disaster all around. It's, you think back to the confirmation hearings and all the stuff that we learned about Pete Hegseth, and this is what happens when you nominate people of low character to cabinet positions. You end up with stuff like this, and I don't know if heads are going to roll, but they seem to just, Trump's strategy is usually just to deny, and then attack. They attack the reporter like it's the reporter's problem that this all happened.
Not just
and
Trump.
So I don't know.
Let's see. I got a little clip. Let's actually hear from Mr. Hegseth, his response when confronted by reporters about this incident.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard it was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Is he right, or is he lying?
They were he's lying. They were obviously clearly texting war plans, and as I said, Jeffrey Goldberg is showing some discretion in this and not saying what was said because it could put, United States agents out in the field in danger, or it could, could harm. This was an operation, the Houthi operation in Yemen, that actually had U.S. soldiers in it. Like, we were out there fighting, and had this information gotten out to the wrong. But for the grace of God go I that it ended up with a responsible reporter and not somebody that could have sold it to one of our enemies. It could have cost us a lot of lives. So, that's the big problem here.
As we are speaking, I'm watching the monitor, and right now in Capitol Hill, there's a hearing going on, and boy, full confidence in Tulsi Gabbard. She'll get to the bottom of this right away. It seems like it's an opportunity for the administration to just sort of defend something that, in my mind, is indefensible. I'll say it, and I had this conversation about Pete Hegseth earlier. I won't say who I was talking to. I say he's unqualified for the position, and I was reacted to with the comment, well, you know what? He's served in the military. He certainly has the qualifications. And I guess my expectation for someone that leads the Department of Defense is the highest levels of experience in military leadership, not just some guy who's clever on Fox, a good-looking man, and has the ability to apparently consume a lot of alcohol and still function, let me put it that way.
Yes, that is true. And then, there are the other people when you have to clean the stuff up, and suppose laws were broken. What, Kash Patel, the new FBI leader, is gonna get into this, or Pam Bondi, who is clearing out the Department of Justice, firing anybody who had anything to do with investigating Trump, in the last couple of years. These people are not going to get to the bottom of any of this stuff. So, I assume everybody's just going to get off scot-free.
Christian Snyder, great writer and friend of the show, on every couple of weeks. So take a break here. There's a lot of other commentary on this issue. We'll play some of that for you after this on 620 WTMJ.
Join your boy Tory Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tory Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi here from Milwaukee Weight Loss. I was just talking to somebody that said, hey, I saw you on the live stream. You look good. Yes, 36 pounds lighter than I was a couple months ago. It's the secret, by the way, to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. No drugs, no injections, with no risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, all those gimmicky things. This program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good. I'm in the maintenance phase now for the next year, and I have not gained a pound. How about that? Just weighed myself this morning. Their program costs up to half as much, works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me. I'm a success story. You can be too. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. And they're the best. Let them make outdoor living unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Are you concerned about Trump term officials transmitting classified war plans on unsecured channels?
Listen, the administration, as I understand, I just was with the president in the Oval Office just now. The administration is addressing what happened. Apparently, an inadvertent phone number made it onto that thread. They're going to track that down and make sure that it doesn't happen again. What you did see, though, I think, was top-level officials doing their job, doing it well, and executing on a plan with precision. That mission was a success. No one was jeopardized because of it. We're grateful for that, but they will certainly, I'm sure, make sure that doesn't happen.
Here's a follow-up question. So doing your job well is conducting this private chat on a public messaging service that maybe they say it's encrypted, but probably isn't. That's doing your job. And a guy like Speaker Mike Johnson, who I think still Christian Snyder, who's joining me on the phone today, I think there's more to know about Speaker Mike Johnson. At some point, we're going to find out this guy's real story because he is, for lack of a better term, a Trump you-know-what kisser, in my opinion.
Yeah, he has his job because he is. I don't know. He's shown some skill in rounding up votes because he has such a thin majority. But, yeah, on this, the fact that the operation was a success doesn't really mean anything. Had this information fallen into the wrong hands, it could have not been a success. And, so this is what you're going to get. These are the talking points. They're going to attack the reporter. Trump, at some point today, is going to announce that he wants to take over some other new country, Brazil or Poland or something, and that's going to take everybody's mind off of what's happening. This is what he does every single time. They're going to attack Hillary Clinton for coming out and saying something on Twitter. Like, of all the people that probably need to sit this one out, Hillary Clinton and her private server
probably
are. There seems to be this thing. There was a story in the Washington Post yesterday about how, well, there goes the but her emails talking point. It's like, no, this is worse, but just because this is worse doesn't mean the thing Hillary Clinton did wasn't bad. I mean, it doesn't ameliorate what she did. So, but yeah, this Trump's going to change the topic, and in 2 days we'll be on something else.
Well, since you brought him up, I mean, the president of the United States basically was asked about it yesterday. He goes, "I don't know about it." First of all, do you think that's true that he didn't know about it? And secondly, is that the response a president who's fully capable of handling the highest office in the world? Is that the way they should answer that question?
Of course he knew about it. There's no way. It was hours after the story broke. So, yeah.
And he watches a lot of TV, so I'm sure he saw this.
Right. He just doesn't want to give a reporter the credit for asking the question or knowing something that he doesn't, or whatever it is. He's just going to deny. He never admits he's wrong about anything, and it seemed to actually be working out pretty well for him, this strategy. So you're never going to get to the bottom of whatever he knew, didn't know, or any of this stuff, just because he's just not going to tell the truth.
Writer and columnist Christian Snyder joining us as he does every other Tuesday on the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ. I guess we'll close with this. I mean, we're sort of having fun with this, and I used the reference to the 1971 film The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight, starring, I believe, Jerry Orbach and Robert De Niro and a bunch of other people. Herb Villechaize was in that movie, for Pete's sake. And it's a fun movie. If you want to go back and find it, it's actually a good watch. It wasn't a great film, but it's just a funny movie. But when I think about the ramifications of things like this, I made the point on social, I think yesterday, last night or today, that it suggests that this administration, they like to do a lot of things, but they don't necessarily pay attention to detail enough to do a lot of things properly, correctly, backed up with the proper science, data, research, and analytical skills that would sort of give you an informed decision. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, we might have to actually go back and offer an apology to everybody that worked in the first Trump administration, because these people, like Reince Priebus at the time, he's a friend of mine. And at the time I was like, why would you go do this? And the argument from these people at the time was like, well, no, Trump may not be great, but we need people like this in office because we're competent. We can keep him from his worst impulses. And, except for maybe COVID, we dodged a real bullet during his first administration, and now he has people that don't have the ability to control him. He has all of his cabinet appointments are basically bootlickers who will do whatever he wants, and his worst personality characteristics are coming out now. He's with these tariff things, he's tanking the market. He's not taking any advice, and he's getting the America that he wants now. And so the people in the first administration, I think, were able to do that, and so we owe them a debt of gratitude because they were professionals, and these people are not.
Author, columnist, great sort of reporter on politics and a whole lot more, Christian Snyder. Thanks for taking the time, as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break here. Lots more to get to, including Jeremy Janine on a crazy, my words, aldermanic proposal on creating a new utility in the city of Milwaukee. We'll get to that story and a whole lot more on today's edition of the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
There, yeah, she flew off the road right at a bridge, so she went down an embankment. No one could see her vehicle
Until a guy named Johnny Martinez happened to come by.
I said, ma'am, how long have you been here? And she said, I've been here since Wednesday night. And I said, no, it's today's Tuesday.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, this is WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I love talking about Advent because it was a game changer for me, and it can be for you. I've talked to many people away from the show, and they said the same thing, including my friend Jody, who's talking about Advent on ads all around town. I had poor sleep, tossing and turning, snoring. My poor wife, Kathy, to deal with all that. I did something about it. This was before I ever was a spokesperson. I just wanted to fix my night's sleep and my problems with sleeping. I went to Advent, 30-minute visit, asked all the questions. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problems, sinuses, nasal passages, a very common problem for those troubled sleepers. After a short procedure done in office and back to breathing well, Kathy and I sleeping through the whole night. Again, uninterrupted sleep is worth it. Trust me. You want to find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better? Go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory is arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the best in the business, and Guthrie and Fry will get it to you. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice, and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Lots of great texts in response to our conversation with Christian Snyder on the sort of the screw up by Pete Hegseth, Department of Defense, and many high-level cabinet members and defense officials. The highest levels of our government sort of exchanging their ideas and their thoughts, chatting away on Signal, sort of a private messaging app that's not so private. And then, unfortunately, they copied in Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, who, as a reporter, could have put this out right away, but didn't, and reported it. I think he did it exactly the right way. A couple texters pointing out that this violates a federal records-keeping act. I also believe it violates the Espionage Act. But here's the bottom line. Do I think, and that's why I played, or I talked about the response of Trump. He's not going to do anything here. He's got Tulsi Gabbard right now, Kash Patel showing up talking to the assembled group in the Capitol Hill inside one of the hearing rooms talking about this today. And it'll probably, I don't have the sound on, but defend, ignore, deny, and using sort of this lame excuse that, well, it all worked out. But what if it hadn't? What if this information becomes, and it's just one of many probably times this may have happened, but it suggests something a lot more serious, that the highest ranking members of this administration, when it comes to details, attention to detail, and facts, are pretty weak on those sort of foundational characteristics of doing solid work as a government leader. And for the president to sit there and deny that he knew, and I would be shocked, surprised, stunned if he hadn't watched it live on TV as the story was announced. See, it's sort of the interesting thing about politics now, the confusion that people have. I remind people all the time on social media, lying about politics is still lying. There's no get-out-of-jail-free card unless you work for this administration. Then that's always in play, including for the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. After the break, Janine, UrbanMilwaukee.com, on an idea from an aldermanic candidate, who wants to create a whole new utility, apparently, for Milwaukee. I've got thoughts. We'll see what Jeremy has to say, and then we'll wrap up the hour with an interesting clip that I'm bringing back because I think it's very relevant to the discussion at hand. You'll have to think about this a little bit. Local news. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. There's a hearing underway on Capitol Hill right now about the war plan breach discussed on the messaging app Signal with reporter Jeffrey Goldberg included in the group chat. Also included National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, says ABC's Martha Raddatz.
According to Goldberg, the administration officials reacting after the strikes, excellent, a good start. Waltz even sending several emojis. The White House National Security Council confirming the authenticity of the thread, saying, we are reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain.
Israeli authorities have released Oscar-winning Palestinian director Hamdad Bilal, who was detained by the army after being beaten by Jewish settlers in the occupied West Bank today. Bilal's film, No Other Land, looks at the struggles of living under Israeli occupation. The conference board says consumer confidence has fallen for the fourth straight month as Americans remain anxious about finances amid concern over tariffs and inflation. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:31. I'm Adam Roberts. A man from River Hills is heading to prison for paying health care kickbacks. Court records showing Justin Hansen and a business partner spent 3 years paying $400,000 in kickbacks to a substance abuse clinic for medical test referrals performed at their Milwaukee area lab, ultimately receiving over $2 million from Medicare and Medicaid. Hansen will have to pay that money back, as well as a $75,000 fine. Today marks 1 week until the spring election on April 1st. As part of our Decision Wisconsin coverage, a reminder that in-person absentee voting is still underway for several Wisconsin communities. Thursday is your last day to request an absentee ballot. You can still register to vote in person at your local clerk's office until Friday or at your polling place on Election Day. And a revival could be brewing in Milwaukee's Walker's Point neighborhood. Sarah and Mike Halstead planning to reopen Mobcraft Brewing 4 months after Wisconsin's first crowdsourced brewery shut its doors. The couple says an opening date is still to be determined, but they are targeting this May. Time now for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Modest gains for all the big three this hour. The Dow's up 51 points at 42,634. The Nasdaq up 43 at 18,232. And the S&P 500 is up 11 points at 5,779. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Checking the roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Pretty quiet across the system overall. Only incident, if you can call it that, is the broken down vehicle from earlier this morning. Still on 94 West on the right shoulder near Highway 16. Everywhere else is looking good. It's a smooth drive for your Tuesday morning. And your WTMJ forecast, mix of clouds and sun. More clouds than sun right now in Milwaukee. A high today of 46. Clear with frost possible tonight and a low down to 28. Partly cloudy for your Wednesday, a high of 47. Slight chance for some morning showers Thursday, bit warmer, a high of 54. Rain and thunderstorms then possible on Friday. It comes with some warmer temperatures, a high of 65. Showers and storms then possible again on Saturday, and a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Manitowoc, sunny skies and 30 degrees. In Mukwonago, it's partly cloudy and 35. And in Milwaukee, partly cloudy and 36 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:34.
He's Donald Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk. And now Musk is trying to buy Brad Schimmel a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Because Musk knows when you buy Schimmel, he'll do whatever you want. Like when Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave Schimmel thousands of dollars. And Schimmel will ban abortion with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of the mother. Deeply corrupt and totally extreme. That's the real Brad Schimmel. There's a better choice.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars.
Protecting your family and your most basic rights. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will.
So on April 1st, vote for Judge Susan Crawford, Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. At Erickson's Landscape Supply, we have durable, maintenance-free polywood patio furniture and #1 grade treated natural pine Amish-made patio furniture. And we also have a wonderful assortment of concrete benches, statues, and fountains available in a selection you just gotta see to believe. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less, plus a whole lot more. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection or stop on in today.
Let's focus on Milwaukee for a bit with our friend Jeremy Janine of UrbanMilwaukee.com, who joins us on the phone. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you tweaked my interest, and I fully admit I hadn't taken this seriously, but a Milwaukee aldermanic candidate apparently has this idea, this notion that he wants to replace We Energies, and full disclosure, big fan of We Energies, with a new public utility. And you indicated you think this is one of the big issues in the aldermanic race. Explain.
So Alex Brower is facing off against Daniel Baumann in a race on Milwaukee's east side and River West neighborhood to replace the late Jonathan Brostoff. There's a special election next week. It is the highest voter turnout district in the city. It is an incredibly engaged district. It includes UWM, amongst, like I said, the east side and River West. Alex Brower, for years, has been a member of the Milwaukee DSA, Democratic Socialists for America. He's also a member of this group called Power to the People that has been very active in trying to promote the idea of a public takeover of We Energies. And so I had a chance to interview Alex to understand exactly what do you mean when you say that, and then I really unpacked what actually the law allows and what's happening elsewhere in the country. So Alex doesn't want to buy out all of We Energies. He just wants the electrical grid in the city of Milwaukee. He'll leave the gas and steam to the private utility. But he has big ideas there, but there's a reality that he might run into.
Yeah, there's certainly a financial reality, which we'll get to in a second. But just looking at his background, what's his expertise in energy?
Well, I don't think anyone on the Common Council has any expertise in energy as a professional background.
Because
that's clear.
I guess we'll get to the funding. If you look at some of the municipalities across this country who have tried this, you're talking about costs that exceed $1 billion. And last time I checked, Milwaukee, that's like their whole budget for everything. I mean, it's like, to me, it's sort of an insane idea. And I would just look at it this way, and you can certainly respond. Of all the things that I would think an alderman should be paying attention to, and I understand that people have high energy costs, I'm not happy about that either. And I would often remind people that you control the amount of energy you use, whether that's making your home more efficient, maybe that's lowering the thermostat. You control that to some degree. I guess there's sort of a priority question that I have with this proposal. I assume it's not the only thing he's hanging his hat on.
No, he has many different things in his campaign, but this is issue on the issues page on his website. This is the first issue that appears. His argument is that if you eliminate the profit motive and you can focus on providing a better service at a lower cost, we're seeing these examples. Chicago did a study starting in 2019. They concluded, that's probably not going to work for various reasons. Ann Arbor's in the process of slowly walking away from a proposal. And in Boulder, Colorado, voters actually about a decade ago approved doing this, and then they started to get to the actual cost, and they voted now to go away from it.
Talking about actual expenses, the City Council of Milwaukee postponed sort of a study on this because there was a $1.7 million price tag. So if they're concerned about the price tag, just from the study, one wonders if the proposal to actually create a utility and to do this on a grand scale even makes any kind of sense at all.
And that was the Common Council in Ann Arbor, Michigan that postponed.
Yeah. So, I mean, correct, yes. So, I mean, if you look at these ideas, it seems to me that that's not the thing that I would be trying. He's trying to get it elected, and this is the thing that's going to get him elected. I guess that's a political calculation. I don't see that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misjudging the electorate and the public that they think that taking over We Energies is a great idea.
We do have examples in Wisconsin of taking over private utilities. Beloit did it about 2 decades ago. But what they've done is taken over their water utility. Milwaukee actually already owns its water utility, Milwaukee Waterworks. And the city actually, this is where rubber meets the road and what Alex has claimed about the profit motive. The Milwaukee Waterworks sells water to more than a dozen communities, and the city of Milwaukee actually makes a profit. Mm-hmm. If they actually could buy an electric utility, I think it'd be very tough for them to resist the urge to make a profit themselves.
Whenever you talk about the Milwaukee Common Council and the city of Milwaukee, you have to figure out what the mayor's take on this. Has the mayor responded to this idea?
The mayor has made it clear over multiple years that he is not interested in the idea, that he has bigger fish he's hoping to fry.
All right. I want to take a break here. I want to get your thoughts on the things you're working on this week. I know that the county executive has his State of the County speech. I believe it's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you're going to cover that as well. So let's take a break here. Listen, of course, to Jeremy Janine, Political Power Hour. He writes for UrbanMilwaukee.com on this Tuesday here on 620 WTMJ.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, this is WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. You know this because I'm a customer. I've bought in vehicles from Heiser. I've certainly driven all those great vehicles over the last 5 years, from Lincolns, Cadillacs, Chevys, including the one I have right now, Chevy Silverado 1500 LT. It is one of the most popular cars or trucks I've driven for Heiser in the 5 years I've done that, more than 5 years now, because it's awesome looking. And if you've ridden inside with me, it's super comfortable. It's got the luxury of a high-end truck. It's got all the towing capacity, all the the tough truck things you need to get the work done, payload capacity, all available to you. Chevy Silverado, very common truck that they sell at Heiser. You can check it all out on their website at heiser.com or go in person at one of 5 great locations at Heiser. Heiser puts customers first, and I tell people that's why they're so great at customer service. They will actually ask you the questions, answer your questions. That's what they do every day. It's not just about the cars or the service or the body shop work. It's about keeping their customers happy. That's why Heiser Automotive can say every day, today's your day.
Why is Susan Crawford running away from the radical record she wants to bring to our Wisconsin Supreme Court?
Susan Crawford, why did you attempt to repeal our voter ID laws that would make it easier for illegals to vote?
Susan Crawford, you called our voter ID laws draconian.
Haven't we had enough problems in Wisconsin with ineligible people trying to vote? Crawford would make it worse.
Susan Crawford is running away, but on April 1st, you can stop her. Judge Brad Schimmel has a proven record of supporting strong voter ID laws in Wisconsin. Elect Judge Brad Schimmel on April 1st. LNC Coalition paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. lcfreedom.com.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burghardt.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
In the city indeed. Jeremy Janine. UrbanMilwaukee.com is where you can find his great work. All right, Jeremy, I always love to hear what you as a reporter are covering or thinking about writing about. What's on your agenda this week?
Well, I think the headline that you'll see on Urban Milwaukee tomorrow will be the state of the county. County Executive David Crowley will be delivering his annual address. I'm not totally clear on what he's going to say because the county has great opportunities in front of it, but it also has significant challenges. Sales tax revenue that they're collecting is not going as well as what the city is collecting. You might ask why that is.
I was going to ask why this discrepancy.
And it's just a matter of estimating that at the end of the day, they're going to collect what they're going to collect. But for their budgets, the county was more optimistic in its budget, and that's come back to bite them a bit. Graham Kilmer will have coverage of what County Executive David Crowley has to say tomorrow at his address. I'm also looking at MCTS is continuing its process of not unveiling new routes, but modifying its routes, trying to do more with less, which is increasingly a challenge for the transit agency, and that'll tie back to the state of the county as well. And then I have a case of man bites dog. Dog bites man is not news. Man bites dog is news.
That would be news.
In Bayview, there is a house that the Historic Preservation Commission staff, the person that owns the house, nominated it for historic protection. And the commission staff actually said, no, we don't think this meets the threshold of being designated historic. But the Historic Preservation Commission members went ahead and overruled the staff and said, yes, we like the idea of preserving this house, and we actually think we want to preserve more of the neighborhood at the north end of Bayview. So I'll examine that.
Those crazy folks in Bayview. I didn't thought I was going to talk about this. Do we have any updates on the hop? They had some maintenance issues. I saw the hop was operating this morning as I was driving west on Michigan Avenue. Are things back to normal? Where are they at?
It depends on where your state of normal is, but the hop has struggled in the past 6 months with operational issues. There is a process going on at this moment in time to what is essentially replace or true the wheels up, which is something that a state report had identified as being overdue.
All right, my friend. We'll do it again next week. Jeremy Janine, how can folks find your great work?
UrbanMilwaukee.com.
All right, then you can subscribe and get all of their great reporting, and they do it really well. They look at all of the local stories, as Jeremy just talked about, in depth with some great local reporting. Have a great rest of your week. We'll take a break here, and we'll wrap up the Tuesday edition of the Political Power Hour. You're listening, of course. I know we don't say it anymore, but it's still the biggest stick in the state. 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Midday News, bringing you the latest in news.
A new bill to fund the federal government will cut millions from Wisconsin projects.
Sports.
The Bucks just aren't that good. They've not beaten the top three teams in the Eastern Conference.
Traffic.
I've never heard of this. I don't think I've ever seen this, and I have done traffic for years in different situations.
And weather.
Well, sun is shining, still chilly, however.
Join Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty, only on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Loyalty, family, few things are more important. I love talking about loyal family renovations. They saved the day last year after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Everybody's house got nailed by this hail damage. Yeah, I had it bad, but Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, by the way, made the entire process as smooth as it can be. I've never had a better experience with a contractor. They worked with my insurance company, got me the most value, handled all the questions, because let's be honest, myself included, not everybody knows how to deal with an adjuster. They handled all of that. Quick answers, top-notch customer service. and they got it done in 2 days. 2 days and a complete tear-off, brand new roof, under warranty now. My roof was done clean. They even have a tool. I didn't even know they had this thing. Picks up every last nail that falls off the roof. I was so impressed. I told my whole neighborhood about it. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com today.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory-warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
When the prodigal son ran out of money and was eating from the pig trough, he didn't have much hope things would get better. However, the son's father welcomed him home with open arms. This is Archbishop Jeffrey Graub. During this Jubilee year, the Holy Father has asked us to be signs of hope for others. For the poor and the elderly, a sign of hope could be a meal, a visit, or even just a warm smile from one stranger to another. This Lent, let's show others this kind of hope and share the love of Jesus. Please join us at Mass.
Save up to 50% on the project, then save so much more on your energy costs. Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Apply for multiple generous rebate programs that can cut the cost of home insulation in half. Jeff and his team perform an energy audit to help you qualify. Then the project, filling your walls with quieting, filtering, insulating foam that saves you money on heating and cooling from day one. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I did it. Some closing thoughts on the subject matter of today's show. We started talking about the sort of breakdown in security with Pete Hegseth, who leads our Defense Department, on just poor choices, poor decision-making. And look, I respect his military service. I respect any veteran, and I've fought hard for veterans in a lot of different ways, including being a guardian for a Vietnam War vet on the honor flights, and that's one of the proudest moments of my life. But when I look at stories like this, it suggests to me that this administration, however noble the cause is to sort of reduce government, make government more efficient, you have to do it the right way. And I find myself in battles on the show, online, in text exchanges with people who should be smarter than this, who should have the same concern that a lot of us have when it comes to a breakdown in protocols. I just saw a banner on CNN and one of the monitors here, maybe CNN or Fox, that suggested that the CIA chief said that this messaging app was loaded on all of their computers. It's not secure. And when you're transmitting or texting private information, secret information, highly sensitive information, that's a breakdown in judgment. And in layman's terms, that's just stupid. So when I call this administration the gang that couldn't shoot straight, I mean it. If you're going to do this the right way, then do it the right way. And details matter. The devil's in the details, the old phrase goes. And you have this grand idea, but the follow-through absolutely sucks. And I understand the president's fascination with Fox celebrities. He's hired a bunch of them to be in his cabinet. He spends a lot of time watching Fox. I watch Fox every day for various day parts just to see what's on their minds and how they're presenting the news of the day. But the bottom line for me is there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. There's a right way to trim government, make it more efficient, make it more safer and secure. This is not not it. And whether Pete Hegseth or other high-level government leaders lose their job over this, I think someone needs to fall here. Ultimately, there has to be responsibility and ramifications for doing the wrong thing. And for Pete Hegseth to go on TV yesterday and, vehemently deny that he had done anything wrong, we all know you did something wrong. We all know what your past is. Both proud, your military service, and not so proud, the issues with alcoholism and other things. Stand up for yourself. And this notion that you just deny because it makes the president look bad, the president can look bad all on his own. He doesn't need your help or your denials or anything else. Fast forwarding to the story that we talked about with Jeremy Janine from Urban Milwaukee. Look, we all understand energy prices, energy costs, our annual or monthly bills for electrical service. They need to be as low as possible. But this idea that somehow the city of Milwaukee is going to create their own utility, and from the reporting I've seen both through Jeremy Janine at Urban Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, is that the startup cost of this would be absolutely astronomical. Yeah, they could bond it, sure, probably, if Milwaukee's credit rating is good enough to do that. But most of the reporting suggests that in the short term, prices would actually go up, not down. That's not a positive development. And I know Milwaukee has a strong socialist background with socialist mayors and other elected officials. We're not going down that road again. That's just not smart. And I appreciate those aldermen and alderwomen who sort of align themselves with some of these ideas, this group collective that we're going to somehow make it cheap. We're all going to do the right thing. I get it. You're trying to appease those people who are the most radical in our city, in our state, in our country. But we got to stop doing that. Stop doing that. There's consequences to bad decision making. Texter just said the same thing. And I guess to the texters who say this is fake news, is that the only response we're going to get now? It's two things: fake news, or what about Hillary's emails? That's the level of your argument now? That's what we're going to get back? I don't have much respect for that. The truth of this story will come out. I think we have a pretty good idea right now because I do trust journalists still, just like I trust scientists and medical professionals, school board members for the most part, teachers. I mean, the list is long. You could go through about 75 now. It might be 100 that we're now supposedly not supposed to trust. And lastly, those of you who are fans of my old show, when I used to do If Steve Ruled the World, will recognize this clip. And it speaks to something I think that's fundamentally important about this administration. The sort of this fear, paranoia that grips them every day. I'll leave you with this.
I suppose you're wondering why I called this meeting. As you all know by now, we had an excellent dessert for dinner tonight, ice cream and frozen strawberries. Well, about an hour ago, I sent Whitaker to the pantry to bring me another portion. He came back with the ice cream, all right. But he said, "Sir, there ain't no more strawberries." Now, gentlemen, I do not believe that the officers of this ship consumed a full gallon of strawberries at dinner tonight, and I intend to prove it.
Are you ready to shake things up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee? All you gotta do is toss your